So, welcome to episode 11 of Rebel City Podcast. My partner in crime, Matt, has had a personal situation come up, so he won't be with me today. So, for the first time ever, I'll be doing a podcast on my own. No even anybody in the room helped me with the camera situation or nothing, so we'll see how this goes. Our guest this week is Karla Kelp. How's it going, Karla?
Hello, going great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good actually. Very, very good. So, do you want to just tell me a wee bit about yourself? I mean, I know a wee bit about you anyway, but I think it would be good to introduce you and give people a flavour for the type of thing that you're into.
Well, there are so many things to tell. I'm a world traveler. I'm a martial artist. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I just recently found my purpose in life, which I'm so grateful to know. The funny thing is, it has always been there, and I had a very, very difficult relationship with my father. He was abusive and narcissistic, and that caused me so much pain and depression and suicidal thoughts and all that stuff until I finally broke free from that. And then later on I realized, okay, this is actually what my life purpose is. I turned my pain into purpose, and now I'm teaching other women how to break free from that and how to turn their lives around. And ever since I started this, my life has shifted and transformed and changed completely, and it's pretty amazing now.
So, what is it? How do you help people? Is it online, or do you do it one-to-one?
Online. Yeah, I do personal development coaching. Yes.
Okay, and this is something that is very, very new in the world, I suppose, is the ability to get help from somebody at the other side of the planet potentially and help people on the other side of the planet, whereas we used to be really confined to what was available sort of nearby. So you're a bit of a trailblazer when it comes to this industry. So how do you find it, first of all?
Well, it's some years ago, someone suggested oh, you could be a coach, and I was like, no, I'm not ready for this. But now that I've managed and overcome so much, I thought, why should I not help other women to do the same? I want to make this world a better place. I think everyone should make this his or her little contribution to make this world a better place. And this is my contribution. And I also want to work online. I want to travel more. So this gives me a lot more freedom to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where is it that you stay currently?
I live in this beautiful city called Heidelberg in Germany. It is the oldest university in Germany, and it's just a beautiful city, amazing atmosphere, amazing architecture, beautiful vibe, great energy. I just love it here.
And is that where you're from? Are you?
I moved here to go to university.
Okay.
Originally, I'm from Transylvania.
Oh wow. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Transylvania is a German subculture in Romania. It's a little bit of a longer story, but I was born there, but my parents sort of went back to Germany when I was very little, just 1 year old. So I grew up here in Germany, and that's also one of the reasons why I had such difficult time with my parents, because we didn't only have the generation conflict, we also had the cultural conflict. They grew up in a little village in Romania, and I grew up in Germany with so much more possibilities, a completely different life.
Right. Yeah. I could understand that that being an issue. I think even like you just said, generational gaps are difficult enough to deal with, and how fast the world changes, that becomes a difficult thing between kids and parents, I feel. But if you had your parents from a really sort of small place and brought you up in a really sort of big place, I could understand why potentially there would be a lot of sort of friction there. So Transylvania, I didn't know that Transylvania was a German culture in Romania. I knew it was in Romania, and I knew about the vampires, but I had no idea that there was a connection between Transylvania and Germany.
Yeah, like they like about 800 years ago from the Western German, Luxembourgish, Belgian area, they moved to Romania to be farmers, to work there, and then it developed like into like a subculture because like they kept all the traditions and their language. So my parents' native language, so to speak, is this kind of, I think in English it's called like Saxon German or something like that.
Right, okay.
Uh, if we have any German listeners, Siebenbürgisch. um,
I don't know a word of German, I'm sorry, but I'm sure
who
somebody
knows?
out there
Who
will,
knows?
yeah, I'm sure
So
somebody appreciates it.
so like yeah, it's like a little subculture by itself, and it's like a very old German that no regular German understands, but it's very, very similar. I usually tell other people, now you will laugh. It's almost like Scottish and British English. Like it's a bit of a difference.
Oh, really?
I think you can communicate, but yeah.
Oh, well, I hope we can communicate. I'm trying to do a podcast, so hopefully
You're
we
doing
can.
it really well.
I,
Thank you.
I
I
was
appreciate
thinking
that.
that, well, I'm speaking, this is me speaking properly. I could demonstrate what I normally speak like, but I'm pretty sure you would be like, what is that?
Try me.
So you're probably right. We'll do it off camera. I was thinking more, would it be potentially that, like, if somebody took Old English, like sort of Shakespearean English, and took it to another part of the planet and then come back to England and was expecting to be able to communicate, is it a
Yeah.
similar language, or is it like Scottish, and the difference between Gaelic and Gaelic is definitely a thing. So it's the Gaels. So Scottish Gaelic and English are two completely different languages.
Okay.
So are they similar languages, or are they completely different to each other?
Well, the thing is, imagine you have one language, and then you take one part away and have them developed separately from each other. So
Right.
the German here in Germany developed in a different direction than the German in Romania developed. They still they have the same roots, and they're very, very similar. So in some way, I kind of, it's considered a dialect, not a different language.
Yeah.
But like I said, like any regular Germans, they don't understand it. Like only if they like are really good with languages, and only if they like listen to it, like very, very hard, and yeah, difficult to understand.
Well, I would agree then it probably is like the difference between English and slang, because Scottish is slang. So,
Yeah.
English people come up and for instance, I've sat on holiday in wherever, Spain, and sat about 20 feet away from somebody and spoke directly about them, and they've not got an idea what you're saying. You just need to
Yeah.
speak fast enough and just use the appropriate language. And yeah, even people that stay Edinburgh, the other side of the country, if they were to hear proper Glaswegian slang, they would struggle a little bit. So it sounds a wee bit like that. So, what were some of the difficulties that you faced, like with your parents? What were some of the things that come up? I mean, if like we're saying, from very different places, and you had loads of opportunity and staying in a big sort of city type thing. What were the type of things that popped up for you?
The difficulties between me and my parents, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, it was the way they would raise their children. My parents grew up with like, it's okay to beat a child if it doesn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
You just like beat them into obedience. So this is what happened to me. Like I was beaten, like but also like verbal abuse and like all that stuff.
Yeah. I had a very similar experience, I've got to say.
Yeah.
My mum and dad, it might have been because my mum and dad were older when they had me, but I think my dad was born in 45 and my mum was born in 49 and I was born in 83. So there was quite a difference, and I found that no physical, I've got to say. My dad never raised his hand to me, but I get quite a lot of sort of mental torment. I think that would be the best way off of my mum and my dad. And I think that, yeah, it's just the way that they were raised. They were sort of hardened for life.
Yeah, they like, I know that's the thing. Like the mindset now, I used to suffer so much when I thought they've experienced the same. They have been beaten. They have experienced all the stuff I did when I was a child. So why would they pass it on? Why would they pass on that pain? And I couldn't understand it. But now I know that they grew up like this. They didn't know it any better. And in their head, they have been the best parents they could be. And having this mindset and also forgiving them, forgiveness is like a big tool, so to speak, that really sets you free. I don't forgive my parents because they deserve it. I forgive my parents because I deserve to be free of that pain. And this is a huge shift in my mindset, in my energy, and life feels different now. You don't carry that burden anymore, because if you hold on tight to this pain, you're like always pulling this huge weight behind you. It keeps you in chains. And if you forgive someone, you set yourself free.
Resentment's toxic, that's for sure. I think that if I was to think about it, and this isn't something I've thought that deeply about, I think that resentment or baggage or pain or non-forgiveness, I think what potentially happens is you might see, so say for instance you are resentful towards your parents, or I'm resentful towards an ex-girlfriend or whatever it might be. When I meet new people and I recognise the traits that person had in other people, then I act out towards them in the same way that I would against the resentful person. So I feel angry, like irrational anger towards these people. I think that's probably what happens. And you're definitely right. Like I 100% agree that forgiveness is like one of the biggest life skills that you could ever learn. My worry is that we don't teach it. I think it's very, very hard for you to go and find people that are willing to forgive. They're few and far between.
Yeah. If you forgive someone, you don't necessarily have to let them know. You can just do it for yourself. It's like forgive them, get rid of that baggage, and just move on and leave it.
You mentioned mindset, so you were saying like mindset's important, which
super important.
What are some of the ways that you think that people can change their mindset? Because I agree, like I 100% agree. Mindset is so important. I think your outlook, your perception is everything, really. Like the way that you perceive things is literally everything to you. So how do you change mindset? I mean, it sounds easy. Sounds like something you just change the way you think. Just think about it more positively. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to just do. So what do you think are some of the ways that people can change their mindset?
Well, like you said, it's not something technically, theoretically, you can just like snap your finger and decide, okay, I'm going to change my mindset now. But because the thing is, like, the way you think is a habit, and it takes time to change a habit. So, for example, what I usually preach is don't judge people. Like this negative talk about others, or even when you judge others, you also judge yourself very harshly usually. And every time you have to be like aware and mindful. Like every time you catch yourself being like negative to yourself, to someone else, like very judgmental, like just I call it the monkey mind. It's the monkey mind is like, imagine you have a monkey in your head, and the monkey is a construct of society, of the way we're raised. We should be this, we should be that, blah blah blah, whatever. Like everything, like your environment, let it be your parents, your friends, teachers, put in your head. And this monkey is not a nice guy. It's quite an asshole.
Okay.
So every time you beat up yourself or you like judgmental to someone else, in my mind, I take like a huge big banana and just like stuff it in the monkey's mouth and tell him to shut up and put it in its cage. Like just like a mental image. And I find it quite amusing to like take a banana and not like and put it like sideways in its mouth, so it has like a yellow smile. and just like something like that. This is like one way. You have to be mindful of it, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Of course.
and
That was going to be something I was going to say, is that you need to be aware.
yeah, this is where everything starts. Be aware of it. You cannot change anything if you don't know what. If you're not aware of it, um, you first have to see something in order to address it.
Mm-hmm.
So be aware and just try to get an observer point of your own thoughts, because the way you think, this is how you this creates your reality. And like, you know, they say, like, if you think positive, like, positive things happen to you, and if you think negatively, negative things happen to you, you know, like the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to change your mindset, you first have to be aware of it, like observe yourself. How do I think? What are my beliefs? This is one thing that I didn't know. I didn't know I had so many limiting beliefs and so many toxic negative beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to like really dig in deep. And I sat down with pen and paper. I wrote down a lot. I talked to friends. I was meditating. Well, I'm a martial artist, so I'm exercising. This is also something, and eating healthy. But we can talk about this later. Otherwise, we will not talk about anything else for the rest of the hour.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, being aware is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's really, it's work. You can, for example, every time you catch yourself with something negative, with something judgmental, like observe how it makes you feel. If it doesn't matter if it's towards you or towards someone else, you know. Mm-hmm. Like if you look in the mirror and think like, oh, I look like shit, you don't feel good when you think that. Or when you look at someone else and like, oh, look at how that person dresses, it's like, bah, you know. So, but you can still say, like, stop in your head. Just say stop and think about it. Like, okay, you don't know what this person went through. You don't know like what burden they carry. So like try to walk a mile in their shoes and be a bit more understanding and more compassionate and more loving, and also towards yourself, you know.
Mm-hmm. Empathy seems almost like a rarity these days amongst a lot of people. I think it's perception. I think this is a perception that you get potentially from a lot of time spent on social media, that or the people that you surround yourself with. But I try and be as empathetic as I can, as often as I can. That, like, exactly like you said, if I catch myself being judgmental, that I try and think about where that other person's came from and where potentially they're going to be going, and that works for me definitely for changing into a more positive sort of mindset.
Yeah, well, I also I educated myself a lot about psychology, so I understand why people behave the way they behave. Mm-hmm. But even though understanding it doesn't make it better, you know, the action is still the action.
Yeah, everything like you said it spot on. It's work. Yeah. Everything's work. Everything's practice.
And also, like, you have to be willing to change. You cannot just sit there and hope that your life will change one day. No, if you keep doing the same things over and over again, your life will be the same as it always is. So if you want your life to change, you have to, everything starts in your head, in your mind. This is where everything starts, because your thoughts create feelings. Your feelings create actions. Your actions create habits, and habits create your life. Mm-hmm. So everything, like, start at the root. I'm a huge believer and fan of not just putting a band-aid over something, like start at the root. Yeah. And the root is your thoughts, the way you think. Mm-hmm. And also, like, when you think in a certain way, in a positive way, you will automatically attract, like, thoughts are a vibration, thoughts are energy. And if you put this energy out, then you receive this energy. It's almost like our head is like a radio, you know, whatever frequency you tune into, what you send out, this is what you receive. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. But it is work. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody that, because again, the amount I'm saying, I agree. I agree that the energy you put out, positive energy, you get it back. What would you say to somebody that would be like, prove it? So
I would say try it out.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I suppose the one that I've had back for people that, especially people that, it seems to be people that aren't looking. So I think that definitely what you said, that people need to be willing to make changes, or to even accept the possibility of change, is definitely a huge thing. So this is generally when I'm speaking to people in general terms, no somebody that's asking me for insight. It just and I would say to them that definitely 100%, if you put out positivity, if you wish for things and you do things that will get you from point A to point B, you will get everything. Everything will be there for you. You just need to do it, and you just need to consistently do it, because consistency is definitely like a big thing as well. Don't give up and keep going. And that is basically what the type of response I get, is that there's all these bad people out there that get so much, or unethical people, or whatever it might be. Bankers, you hear about, like, so bankers are ripping people off and they're getting paid millions and they're not going to jail, and all these are bad people that are getting good things. What would your response to like that type of thing? Because I find it hard to respond to it.
Well, what do you think they get good things? You don't know if they're depressed. You don't know if they have nightmares. You don't know how they feel. You don't know how their life looks. This is something you assume, and making assumptions doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
And the problem is that a lot of people, they're not aware. They just they do what they believe they have to do. They are what they think they should be. And what do people think they should be? They think they should be successful in their job and have a house and children and blah blah blah. But how many people do you see like hit the wall, having the midlife crisis or whatever? And it's because they don't really truly live. But oh god, this is like another huge topic. About like something that really, really pisses me off is when it frustrates me to see how people are not honest with themselves. They don't even know it. A lot of people are actually depressed and they don't even know it.
I was one of the people. I was one of them.
I was also one of them. Yeah. I didn't know it. Like, I suffered my entire life, like until I got rid of all that pain.
Took charge.
Yeah, and took responsibility and didn't blame anyone else.
Yeah.
And I take responsibility for my own life and where I am. I'm not like blaming my father, like, oh my God, I'm not successful, I'm not famous, or I'm not this, I'm not that because of you. No, I'm responsible for my own life. And this is what people need to do. And the thing is, we were raised to be like tough and not show emotions and not be like, I don't know, like especially with women, like, oh, don't be a drama queen and blah, blah, blah. We're not a drama queen when we just tell someone how we feel. If I say, this makes me really sad, this hurts me, like, I'm not a drama queen, I'm just being authentic. And this is one thing, like, this term has been thrown around so much, being authentic. But what is that authenticity? Is like, you have to know who you are, what you want, what you need in life, and then also like tune into your emotions. Actually, emotions are nothing weak. Emotions are nothing else but like a GPS system. Your emotions tell you where you are, where you stand right now.
Yeah.
You feel if you're going in the right direction or not. You feel if you're aligned and on your path or not. You feel it. It's that simple.
100%.
And listening to your emotions and addressing them and giving them the attention they deserve. This is what will make you be successful. And what I used to think success is having an amazing job, a great apartment, family, car, whatever. But I completely changed my view of that. What is success for me is now having inner peace.
Yeah.
And this is something that I have achieved now, and I'm really proud of. Because a lot of people that have success, they don't have inner peace.
If you rewind the clock back 3 years on my life, I owned a house, I had a car, I'd been in a long-term relationship at that point. If we go back 4 years, I'd been 9 years. I'd been in a relationship, had a great job, was a top performer, and none of it made me happy. Absolutely none of it.
Yeah.
And I'm in the process just now. It's taken me, so 2 years ago I woke up and I was addicted to porn, and I was deeply, deeply unhappy with my life. That I hadn't really admitted it to myself, but I finally admitted it to myself, and the relationship ended, and now I live in a house with like 3 other guys. I do my podcast, I play guitar, and I've never been happier. I have never been happier. It's like people almost, I can see it in them, but I don't take much notice when they say, like, because I'm 35, and they're like, you've got flatmates? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right. It's almost like you're weird, because I'm in the sort of situation that people would think you're a student, where I'm in like a flat share. But I spend more time with my friends than I've ever done. I'm more creative than I've ever been. The last bit really is the job. I need to get rid of the job and get my new, but I'm in the process of sort of educating myself, and I'm back at university and studying to become a cognitive behavioural therapist, and that's just the path that I've decided. But that I need to fund that, so I know I go to work every day satisfied that money is going towards my education, so that I can move on. So I was droning along. I was droning along like everybody else, and just deeply, deeply unhappy. And one of the things that I've struggled to come to terms with is being okay with being sad, and being okay with not being depressed, and I'm depressed, but feeling depressed, and knowing that it's nothing bigger than just what I'm feeling, and maybe I should reflect. Did something happen? Have I had an argument? Have I acted outside my moral code? Have I maybe not seen my friends as much? What's going on in my life? And then that makes me feel better. Surprise, surprise. But before that, it was just like, it was almost numb.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I completely understand. I think that's what a lot of people are. Like numb, and they're not honest with themselves, because it is uncomfortable. That's the thing. It is uncomfortable if you have to admit towards yourself, towards others, who you truly are, how you truly feel.
Yep.
And this is the problem. No one dares to admit that, and everyone is like pretentious and like, showing this perfect life, like perfect in quotation marks, perfect life they have. And not many people dare to be vulnerable and speak how they truly feel. And I've started doing that, like with my friends and my environment, new people I meet on my Facebook account. I made some really honest, vulnerable videos where it was really scary. It was really, really scary to open up. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I knew it would be good for me. It would be helpful to someone out there. I know someone will definitely benefit from that. And if 10 people, if 20, 500 people laugh at me, it doesn't matter if it helps one person.
Yeah.
So this is my mindset now. And I know that they only judge me because they're scared, and they're projecting their insecurities onto me. And this is the problem, like when people are judgmental, like the flatmate situation. I also have a flatmate, but it's still a beautiful apartment where I feel like really, really home, and it has like a good energy, good vibe.
Yeah.
And
I'm the exact
it doesn't
same
matter.
here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what people think like I should have or should be, but by having a flatmate, I don't pay that much rent, so I can save up and travel. And this is what everyone like envies me for, like, oh, you're traveling so much. It's like, yeah, because I chose a different lifestyle than you have. It all boils down to decisions, and yeah.
What do you think causes us to just drone along like that? Like that's the reality for most people, I would say, that I know. in my
They don't.
in my age group, they're probably in unhappy relationships, projecting online that they're happy 24/7, but you
Yeah.
can kind of see through it a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
If nobody posts anything negative on their social media, there might be something else going on, because I'm honest in my social media. Like, if I don't
Yeah.
feel good, I'm saying I don't feel good to people. So like when I hurt my shoulder, I think we were messaging backwards and forwards, and you were asking me how I was, and I was like, oh, I'm not feeling great because I've done that. And that's just honest. That's just, yeah. And a lot of people out there, are in this situation that you talk about, that it's supposed to be the perfect relationship. They should be happy. They've got everything. So what's the major cause?
They don't know it any better. That's the problem. And we just, like, we pick up the beliefs by our parents, and they picked up their beliefs by their parents. So whatever we think and believe is, I don't know how many centuries old.
Mm-hmm.
And like, dare to be critical and ask yourself all those uncomfortable questions. It's just because this is how children learn, by like looking at the adults and then what's the word?
Mimic.
Adapting, then adapt that, and yeah. So, and also, or like, I don't know, magazines, TV shows, whatever, like the media or social media is presenting. So you trying to have that because you think this is what makes you happy. No, the only thing is what makes you happy is if you listen to your instinct, to your inner voice that is like a little quiet voice, and the ego is like loud and yelling and shouting, and it's very difficult to hear this small voice if you don't know what it sounds like, if you don't know how to listen to it.
Yeah.
But it's something that we all have, this intuition. The thing is, we all know what we should do, or what does make us happy, but we don't do that. We don't dare, because it's uncomfortable and it's dangerous to step out of your comfort zone. For so many years I was like not going on traveling the world because I was scared. I was like, I don't have the money. And this is what kept me back home and stuck. I was like stuck for so many years and so unhappy and so depressed. And I didn't admit to myself that. And then came the point where I was like, okay, I own my shit. I take responsibility for everything that happened to me, that where I am right now. And from now on, I will do things differently. I forgave myself for whatever I did in the past. And I said, okay, from now on, I change things. I do things differently. And
wow, that's inspiring. It really is. So do you feel like there needs to be, like, the individual needs to wake up almost for the change to happen? Do you think there's any way that people can promote the do you think there's a way, like, people like yourself, this is something that's very new, and I feel that this is the future, that things like betterhelp.com and therapy online and online coaching, and people out there that have got very specific skills and know very specific subjects and can help somebody no matter where they are on the planet. This is definitely the future. This is where it's going, and people being able to work online. So do you think there's a way that it can be promoted, rather than having to take the individual to sort of wake up, like clearly you did and clearly I did? It was like a shocking episode for me. It was life changing. So do you think there's any way that we could promote it, or do you feel that it needs to come from the individual themselves?
I think it needs to come from deep within you. No one can force you to grow. It really has. If that's what I noticed. If I try to, so to speak, like talk sense into people, they resist. They fight back because they think I'm attacking them, and I'm not telling them they're not okay. I'm just trying to realize and open their eyes, and it has to come from deep within. And like I said, I truly believe that all the answers, all the knowledge we need for a happy life, they lay within us. But we're not in tune with that, and we don't listen closely enough. And I think you have to be willing to change in order to finally change. I mean, it's like, yeah, you have to be willing to do that. Otherwise, it won't work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people just, I don't know, laugh at you or even attack you for trying to help them. And that's the thing. Sometimes you try to help people and they attack you for it, and they don't see that you're coming from a place of love.
Yeah. I've actually had somebody reach out in the past, not so distant past, but reach out and then reject the help, which was strange. So somebody telling me that they wanted help, but then turned out, no, they didn't want the help.
Yeah, that's also something that we were taught to like give, but no one taught us to receive and to accept help. We were taught that you have to do everything by yourself, and you have to be tough and blah 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 and da da da. And we feel weak if we ask for help or if we accept help. And this is also like a very bad stigma that needs to be discarded.
Yeah, I think that perhaps this is something that, when I was thinking about how could we promote it, I think it potentially will change as the sort of social media generations, the first people that have lived on the internet their full life, because I suppose they get to see so many different possibilities in comparison to when I was a kid. And I mean, I don't know what age you're yourself, but when I was a child in the 80s, you know what I mean? I could be a policeman, a fireman, or a soldier.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing. So, 2 seconds. The possibilities for a kid nowadays is endless, because they can see it all online. They can see that they could do so many different things. So I think this might be something that changes as the first generations of social media sort of come through into adulthood. I think we might see a lot more travelling, a lot more like wanting to see the world in comparison to when I was a kid. Yeah, so like you said earlier about the martial arts, obviously I do martial arts as well, so we're going to need to talk about that, and we've got about 20 minutes left. So, so first, before we go into martial arts, how much do you think the diet? How important do you think the diet is? Because personally, for me, I think it's absolutely paramount.
Yeah, it is, of course, the way whatever you put in your body, this is the energy you get, and you are what you eat. I changed my diet. I changed a lot in my life. And what I say is, like, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like you as well. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for me personally, it's not just a hobby, it's like a passion and a lifestyle and a huge, huge part of my life. And I just got my purple belt. Woohoo!
Congratulations.
So yeah, that's a big, big milestone in my life.
For sure. Big achievement.
And it's, yeah, like to exercise, to eat healthy, to show up for training, to be disciplined. That's all part of martial arts. And I think martial art or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, what I do is an amazing teacher. And I can explain life to you with like Jiu-Jitsu analogies. It's funny.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, what kind of diet do you follow? Do you follow a specific diet, or are you a wee bit more looser with it?
What did I let me try to think. What did I eat before that? Um, I think I was eating a lot of bread, a lot of pasta. Um, yeah,
So
yeah,
loads
yeah.
of
I think also a lot of meat, I think. I'm
okay,
not sure. Like I've changed my diet like immensely. Like I've been doing some sorts of martial arts for 8 years now.
okay,
And but my diet now is like a year ago I decided, okay, I will try out this vegan thing and for 3 months and see how it goes.
okay.
And so yeah, I'm mostly sticking to it. I'm not like super strict. I make like very few exceptions, but only if I feel like it. The thing is like a lot of times I don't even feel like
Yeah.
eating meat, and I've decreased the amount of meat I ate like a lot the last few years,
Hmm.
and I just try to eat more vegetables, rice instead of pasta, and even now I'm eating not that much rice. I'm eating more quinoa or lentils.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just doing that and trying. We all know, like, if we listen to ourselves,
Hmm.
we know what food like is good for us. We just know it.
Yeah.
And when I eat trash food, I actually feel like
Oh,
trash afterwards.
yeah.
I feel
Tell me
really
about it.
shitty.
Yeah, definitely. I do. Um, I suppose it's kind of like keto light. I do, and I do uh, an intermittent fast. So I don't eat between midnight and 6 p.m. and I only eat between 6 p.m. and midnight. This is
Yeah.
so specific to me as a person. Like I say to people because people will ask me about my diet. Not that anybody asks you about your diet, but they notice that I'm not eating and work during the day. Nobody comes up to me and says, "What diet are you following?" They'll just be like, "You don't eat." So when I explain my diet, they'll be like, "Does that work?" And they're like, "It works for me. This is very specific to me."
Yeah.
So it's like keto light. I do ketogenic plus fruit, and just so that I'm getting some sort of sugars in there. But and then one night a week I can have what I want, but I only eat between 6 p.m. and midnight, and that's just because that's when I want to eat at night. That's when I find that I'm really like I need food. During the
Yeah.
day, don't care. Black coffee and water. And I go to the gym generally about midday, so I'm like working out fasted. So that is how specific my diet is. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm actually considering like leaving it off a wee bit and starting to eat during the day just to see if I can fuel my workouts a wee bit better or something like that. But I've got a very specific diet, and I'm the as big a believer in you that it is garbage in, garbage out. There's a great analogy that you're if you're a car, your stomach's the fuel tank and your brain's the engine. So if you were to put diesel into a petrol car, the engine blows up. So
Yeah.
if you eat a crappy diet, you're going to potentially have mental health issues. So I'm a massive believer in that. And like you just said, if I eat crap the next day, I feel like crap. So I think it's paramount and it's so important. And I think that that's something that we need to just educate people. That I think that sugar's literally poison.
Yeah. I'm trying to eat not that much sugar. I have a weakness for chocolate, but
Yeah, me too.
I
So when I was
but
21, I was 22 stone. So I was a
I don't
big.
know how much that is in
So,
kilos.
so I'm 15 stone and that's 90 kilos.
Okay.
That's me just now. So I was 22 stone. So I was 7 stone heavier. So probably about 120 kilos, somewhere in that.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
Pretty big. Yeah, I was big. And it was McDonald's and chocolate like all day. So, and I just lost the weight. Just over no like drastic weight loss, just
Yeah.
gradually through my 20s, just lost weight. So, yeah, chocolate, love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, I believe like everyone needs to find their own diet, whatever they feel comfortable with.
Yeah,
There is not like the perfect diet for
yeah,
everyone. No, like just
agree.
like I said, like I tried it out and I like it, so I'm sticking with it. I'm not trying to convince any people.
Do you
And
supplement?
excuse me?
Do you supplement? Do you need to take supplements to?
I don't right now. I'm thinking about maybe starting that. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. And
We'll see.
do you find that it has any negative or positive impact on your training?
No, I
No?
don't think so. I'm a huge believer in natural things, and well, it depends what kind of supplements it is. Yeah, what kind of supplement it is.
Hmm.
I'm sure there are a lot of natural ones
Yeah.
that can help you. I haven't looked into it. I haven't missed anything yet. I also did for some time the intermittent fasting, and it kind of just, I don't know, I didn't like drop it on purpose. It just happened somehow.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I actually I dropped a lot of weight with that, and that wasn't on purpose. It just happened.
Hmm.
Um, well, not a lot, but I mean,
Yeah,
I must.
you drop a bit of weight. Aye, if I don't do intermittent fasting, I put a wee bit of weight on. Like definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just it suits me. I just don't. Food isn't something that I crave during the day. I don't know why. I've got absolutely no idea. It's just I've trained myself to be like this so that I only eat half the time, but that I'm awake so that I don't become fat. I think that's probably
yeah.
the main thing for me. So you've been doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for 8 years, did you say?
Well, I started martial arts like 8 years ago. I was doing more the traditional self-defense jiu-jitsu in university
Okay.
when I was a student, but that was like only twice a week, and there were like so many people and just one instructor, so my
Hmm.
progress there was like really slow. And then 2014 I went to my very first jiu-jitsu BJJ jiu-jitsu globetrotter camps, and this is when I noticed like, okay, so the level is a lot higher than in my, of course, my university class. And yeah, so and back then I didn't do like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and so I got my blue belt actually from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Globetrotters from that camp.
Okay.
And then I went, I was also visiting the States for some time, was training BJJ there for 2 months, and I was training like 4, maybe 5 times a week.
Wow.
And then I came back, and all of a sudden I was like armbarring all the guys that I couldn't get before. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I was getting like more and more frustrated in this university class.
Hmm.
But because I was still a student, I was like, I cannot afford jiu-jitsu classes, and there was nothing that I liked here in Heidelberg. So in the neighbor town, not that just 20 kilometers away in Mannheim. Um, so this is where I'm training now. So after being like a very frustrated blue belt in university class for a year, I decided, okay, it doesn't matter how much it costs. I will go to that gym, and I signed up there. And yeah, I have no regrets. It was a great decision because I learned and progressed so much and so fast.
Hmm.
But then I had some injuries, and that was like, different topic. Um,
Yeah. Well, I know all about them recently, so I can't say anything.
yeah.
I've been practicing for, was it September? It's October. I've been practicing for 11 months. So I'm
Mm,
very new to it, and I've definitely went into it because of Joe Rogan and because of that sort of Eddie Bravo American
yeah.
podcaster movement that I'm definitely into in a big way. I mean, I watch 2 or 3 podcasts a day. It's like an obsession. It's getting ridiculous, and I'm starting to watch podcasts that are probably verging on sort of a couple of conspiracy podcasts that are just I'll say no more about them. So like I mean, I definitely I have seen so many positive gains in life and in ways that I would have never have expected through just starting to take a martial art. I mean, I did it in my teens. I did a lot of 6 months of karate when I was like 13, and then I did Aikido for 4 years in my teenage years. Unfortunately, it seems that it's not very good martial art. I always thought it was. I enjoyed it because I was like between the age of like 11 and 15. I practiced it, so I thought
Yeah.
it was great. But yeah, it's not very well respected Aikido,
Well,
unfortunately.
I think it's a beautiful art, but
Yeah.
for self-defense, I don't think it's that effective.
No, definitely not. There's some videos on YouTube you can go and see. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys absolutely like kick people about. It's pretty bad. But I've seen so many positive things. I think
Yeah.
the biggest one, if I was to narrow it down, is how humbling I find it. It's taught me that I'm not perfect. That
No.
you can't be perfect. Like you can definitely strive for perfection, but to expect perfection's ridiculous. But I've learned how to learn in a completely different way than what I thought before. If I could go back and do university again, yeah, I'd squish it, I think, in comparison to what I did the first time. Well, I'm doing that just now, but yeah, what kind of sort of benefits do you see?
Oh, so many. Well, what I love about jiu-jitsu is that it's an honest sport. You cannot pretend anything on the mats. Either you know your techniques and you're good, or you don't. There is no pretentiousness. And like when I roll with a guy and he uses like all his strength and all his weight, that's when I know I really put him into like dangerous positions, because he has to use not just technique, but all the other aspects that he is like bigger and stronger than me.
Yeah.
And usually when the round ends, like he's sweaty and all like out of breath, and I'm like, I'm fine, I can keep going. And he's like, oh my God, I need a break. So I just let them wear themselves out. But what I also love about jiu-jitsu is that, like, first of all, like I said, it's very honest and everyone is equal on the mats.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter like if you are, I don't know, whatever your occupation is, it doesn't matter like what your background is, it doesn't matter. Like we're all here for the to enjoy this beautiful and share this beautiful art. And what I love also about it, it's some sort of like meditation and spiritual teacher, because it teaches you to be present in the now.
Yep.
You can actually not afford to be somewhere else with your mind. You forget, I promise, you forget all your sorrows if someone is trying to break one of your limbs or try to strangle you.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds brutal, but it's not. It's a lot of fun. It's like wrestling in kindergarten, just with rules and
yeah,
technique.
that's a good way of looking at it. How often do you practice?
4 times a week.
4 times a
usually.
week. So you're serious then? Definitely
Yeah,
serious about
sometimes
it.
more, sometimes
think-
less. Like
I'm feeling that potentially that I might drop. Jiu-jitsu's my preferred, like out of the, because I do jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, Filipino Kali, and then so it's like a Jeet Kune Do, and I do jiu-jitsu, and I'm thinking that I might drop the Jeet Kune Do and just do jiu-jitsu, because I would probably do 4 classes a week if I can get to them, if that's possible. That's what I want to do, but definitely 3. That's kind of where I am, but I think I'm spread myself too thin. I think I'm doing too many different things. And I would really
whatever makes you happy. I mean, if you want to get better, of course you have to practice it more often. And I felt like the huge shift when I shifted from only 2 classes a week to even like 6 classes a week. I was doing like no-gi and then the gi classes, so I had like 6 classes on 4 days. And I did that for half a year, and oh my God, my progress was like going through the roof, and I learned so much. So yeah, it depends, like whatever makes you happy. But for me, after some time, 2 times a week was not enough. I really want and need more. Like I feel happier and more balanced when I exercise. And I also do like at least one jiu-jitsu camp a year. This year I did even 3 within 6 weeks. My body was broken.
Oh wow.
Um, but I learned so much. Like I learned some amazing techniques where I even like submitted some brown belts, and that was like a huge achievement. I was like, oh my God, awesome.
It's amazing.
And I'm not a big girl.
That's so good. Wow.
Yeah,
So what are the camps like? What are the camps like?
they're a lot of fun. So much fun. It's usually like around 6 classes a day. You can choose which classes you go to. There are some open mats, and it depends which. Well, there's so many camps. I usually go to the Globetrotter camps. There are all sorts of camps, whatever. Yeah, from all different organizations. I
How,
just like those.
how
Yeah.
long do they last?
The big ones, 6 days. Some are
Right.
like 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I don't know if there's anything like that happens. I've never seen anything like even at the club or anything where they're
Well,
talking about it. So
imagine like, I don't know, 50 or even up to 250 people from all over the world getting together just to train jiu-jitsu. It's amazing. You have so many like-minded people from all over the world. It's like beautiful.
wow, sounds amazing. Um, so do you see any? So like, do you think that there's any tangible benefits that you see that you bring to your like life outside of jiu-jitsu? So I mean, like the positive impact that it's had on me, I've got a tangible example. So like I was saying at university when I'm studying, um, I've developed this sort of way of being that's the same way that I am when I'm practicing a martial arts. So like you're saying, being present and being focused and forgetting
Yeah.
everything. Um, like do you think that that is something that you would promote to people? So
Yes.
so yeah, so if somebody was to say and you were to say like do you think that that is something you say go and do jiu-jitsu?
Yes, well, the thing is, like, I can roast your ear about jiu-jitsu for hours, how amazing the sport is, all the benefits that it has given me. You know, you get like physically, you get fitter, you get ripped, you learn like very useful skills. Self-defense is an amazing skill to have.
Yeah.
You feel balanced. Your hormonal level is different. But also your mindset changes. Jiu-jitsu gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me an amazing community, a lot of amazing people that I met. It gave me a lot of like joy and happiness and balance, and also a different mindset. Because when you, for example, if someone is like trying to attack you, you can run away from it and then hope you're a really good runner. Or if you know the tools and the technique to deal with this problem, with this attacker, then you can deal with that. And it's like an analogy for life, you know, whatever. Life is easier if you have the tools to manage it. Then it's a challenge and not a struggle anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the same in jiu-jitsu. Like what I learned, if someone is trying to punch me, to kick me, instead of like running away, it's like, no, you go right in there, you close the gap so there is no distance anymore to punch and to kick, and then you throw that person, take them down, dominate them, get in a dominant position, and then submit them. And like, to speak like in jiu-jitsu terms, right? But this is also like how you tackle life. This is like how my mind works. My mindset is now, okay, there's like, don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution, focus on the steps, how to solve this problem. So it is, that's why it's called martial arts, because it is an art, and it is also like a teacher, a spiritual teacher. And it does, when you are a martial artist for some time, you develop a different way of thinking, you develop a different mindset.
Yeah, and I've definitely found that. Yeah, I think I actually think that my favourite thing about martial arts is the feeling after the class.
Yes.
And the walk home. because both of my schools are quite close to where I live, so I'm a 20-minute walk away from both the jiu-jitsu school and where I practice the other martial arts. And that walk home, it doesn't matter if it's warm or if it's cold or if it's raining, whatever it is, I appreciate it for some reason. Just
Yeah.
that, yeah, just walking up the road. I absolutely adore that. Like, and yeah, so that's us done. That's the hour up. I've enjoyed speaking to you. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation.
Yes, very much. Thank you.
Do you want to you can give like a wee sort of push like your social media and where people can find you if they're wanting to hit you up?
Yeah, well, if I prefer to coach women, but if you're a woman and if you have like childhood pain that is holding you back and you feel stuck, I have like a Facebook group that is for free where I upload videos and posts. But if you want to get into a coaching session with me, you find me like either on my personal profile, Karla Kelp, or my Facebook group is called Phoenix to Freedom, because I believe that pain burns you, but you can rise from the ashes, and you can be this phoenix. When you decide to let all of this go, you can start a new life. And yeah, Phoenix to Freedom is where you find me. My website is still under construction, so yeah.
Okay, that was beautifully put. Thanks very much, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Cheers.